Yo, what is up, loafers? This is Nanobread, and welcome back to another episode of Stardew Every Day. Today will probably just be another day of fishing, just because I still haven't made enough money yet to where I'd like to be at. Pet the cat. Time to get his undies back from Marnie's place. I never understood why they kept their relationship a secret. You're allowed to have love, especially in a small ass town like this. Of course you're going to be dating someone in the town, you know? It just makes no sense to me. I don't think it actually cost him anything towards his reputation as the mayor. If anything, I think a few of his other actions might have something to say against that. But, you know, it's not my place. It's not my relationship. All I can say is poor Marnie for having to put up with that. Her choices must have been pretty much non-existent for her to put up with Mayor Lewis. Alright, so today there is a comment from the comment section of a previous video that I never got around to addressing. So instead, I'll put it in this video. I'm hoping that as I start posting more again, you guys can start leaving ideas for me to talk about down in the comments. It'd be greatly appreciated. But for now, I will answer this one since it has been more than 3 weeks since they asked this. So I'll put the comment on the screen right now. And they're asking me, what shows have I been binging lately? So I mean, I'll get the obvious out of the way. I have been binging Haikyuu again. I like to do this thing where I read the manga and then, in my head, I kind of play the scenes that happen and the voice lines that happen during the show. And it's been enhancing the experience for me so far. And then I go back to actually watch the scene. So then it's really fresh in my head. Right now I'm watching Karasuno play Inarizaki, so that's fun. I read it not too long ago now, so it's interesting to see the stuff they left out and the stuff they kind of embellished in the show version. That's not really something I expected. I kind of just expected them to leave stuff out, not exactly enhance other things, if that makes any sense. Also, since I mistakenly clicked while I was tired yesterday, I started at half energy, so I'm gonna take a few of these jellies to hopefully bring me back up to snuff. Besides Haikyuu though, there isn't really a show that I've been watching. It's just kind of my usual content on YouTube. Since I have been trying to get more into Valorant lately, I like to watch offline TV play. Especially their games where it's the two pros versus 5 noobs. I find that very fun. When they describe themselves as noobs, I don't think that they actually are. You know, they've played a decent amount of the game. I would consider myself a noob, and I think if I took part in something like that, it definitely would not be as close as some of those games are. Granted, you know, there's only 2 pros, and for some of those matches, they do mess around quite a bit. But still, I feel like even if they just stood there, I wouldn't be able to get clean shots off on them. One thing that I have been binging lately and I got back into is actually a podcast by, you know, Markiplier, Bob, and Wade. It's called Distractible. If you guys haven't seen it, I really highly recommend it. I was actually thinking it'd be really cool to make something similar to what they do for Distractible. I know I just definitely don't have a big enough following where people would want to watch something like that. But basically, they just have a different topic every week, with one of the 3 of them being the host, while the other 2 are competitors. And then the winner of that week gets to host the next week. So I think it's just really fun. You can just banter with your friends and basically just do whatever. They always do a small talk section in the beginning, and then sometimes it spirals out of control, and then it leads back into the actual topic for the episode. Like one of the ones that I watched recently was hosted by, I believe it was Bob. Basically, the premise of the episode was 20 questions, but he made them really easy. The questions themselves weren't necessarily easy, but at some points, once he got through like the normal 20 questions, he went back and like asked the questions that they got wrong again. So, you know, you've heard the answer before because he tells you them when you get them wrong. So it just really depends if you remembered or not. And it was really funny because neither Wade or Mark could remember them that well. So it was just a bunch of laughs. And I don't know, that kind of content I just really enjoy, I guess. Because it is just the three of them sitting down and talking to each other and doing some sort of like ridiculous competition. Like, yes, it has such a big following by name just because of Mark, but I feel like if I discovered it not because of him, then I would still really enjoy it nonetheless, just because, you know, it's them just talking nonsense and you're there pretty much for them, you know. I don't know, let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing something like that. And then like maybe if there is enough interest, maybe I'll ask some friends to see if they maybe want to do something like that, and maybe I'll post it to the channel. Let me know down in the comments what you guys have been binging too. So like, I didn't necessarily only say shows, like I did do one show in Haikyuu, but then I also did stuff that I was binging on YouTube, and the last thing I mentioned was a podcast. So it's a wide variety of things that I like watch or listen to, and I want to know what you guys feel too. Another thing that I've been trying to watch more is just basketball in general, not necessarily the Warriors, just because the Warriors right now are, let's say, a little disappointing. It basically is just the Curry show, and when he doesn't have a good night, which this year he's definitely not playing up to snuff like his previous years, but that is also because the man is in his late 30s, so you can't expect him to carry the way that he did when he was like late 20s or early 30s. So it's disappointing, but what can you really do? You just gotta hope that their front office will actually do things. And to an extent, they have so far. They traded the injured DeAnthony Melton and I believe 3 second-round picks or something for Dennis Schroeder, who I think would be a really good fit for the Warriors. He would be the backup ball handler, so Pods doesn't have to do it anymore. And he's a scoring threat off the bench, who hopefully can close games along with Curry. Now, that is a really small backcourt, and your defense won't necessarily be the greatest, but hopefully the scoring punch from those two will lead to something, just because offense has really been a problem for the Warriors this year. And the lack of a second ball handler. No offense to Pods or anything, but he is a second-year player, and it is a lot to expect of him to play at such like a high caliber level of, you know, us wanting to win a chip. Part of me really did wish that we traded him like in the off season for Lauri Markkanen, just because that was a real possibility for us to get, was Lauri Markkanen and some picks, or sorry, was Podziemski and some picks for Lauri Markkanen. And if we look at it right now, that's not that big of a price to pay. Especially since Lauri Markkanen signed a big extension, keeping him for 5 years, you know? He would also be someone we could build around once Steph and Draymond are retired. But I get it, the Warriors also don't really like to make too many trades, so it's fine. I just am sad that they're not really trying to maximize on the time they have left with Curry, just because how often are you really going to get someone that is like top 10 potential in the whole like league of all time, you know? But it's fine. I still enjoy it. But that's why I'm trying to branch out to watch other teams as well now. And a big motivation of that is my girlfriend, because she's also been trying to watch more basketball. Unfortunately, she is trying to be a Celtics fan, which I keep like teasing her about, that she's just bandwagoning off of whoever's the best team that year, just because I've known her to do that in the past. She's enjoying watching them, and I mean, for good reason. You know, they're one of the best teams in the league, so might as well. Some other teams that we agreed on that, you know, we would try to watch more and make an effort to was the LA Clippers. I don't know if you guys remember, like I told you that my girlfriend and I, we did go to a Clippers versus Kings game at the Intuit Dome, and it was pretty fun. And she's a pretty big fan of James Harden, just because she likes a lot of the older players in the league, because that's when she like first started watching. So a lot of the younger dudes, she doesn't really know them. But again, this is her way to, you know, watch more basketball, be exposed to it, and get to know the current players in the league. That one was more of her pick. For me, my pick was the Atlanta Hawks. I really like what they have in their starting lineup. You know, they have Ice Trey as the starting point guard. Then they got a tall and lengthy Dyson Daniels, who's really improved defensively for them. Their rookie, Zachary Vichase. I'm pretty sure I like butchered his name, but oh well, I'm so sorry. And then, you know, their power forward is their second star, Jalen Johnson. And a funny thing is that I didn't know that they were all like relatively around the same height. Like they're all pretty lengthy, like towards 6'9"-ish. And then, you know, the classic center, pretty solid, Clint Capella. I remember him from like those Rockets days with James Harden. So the main reason why I wanted to watch the Hawks was because of like a personal like game that I did. I did an expansion team, and for some reason, even though I let every single team protect 14 of their players, the Hawks still didn't protect Trae Young. So I decided that I would draft him, and in the end, we kept him the entire time of his career, and I believe we won like maybe 2 or 3 championships while he was active. One of them was him being the best player, so you know, he has a soft spot in my heart now, even though it was all from a video game and nothing to do with real life. Alright, today was definitely a better day of fishing. I'm hopefully gonna make a lot of money, and I'm not going to accidentally misclick this time, because I'm gonna go to bed. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave down in the comments like anything you guys want me to talk about, or just anything for, you know, me to interact with you guys with, because I really like talking to you guys and I really miss it. So as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for tuning in, and I wish you guys a good night, loafers.